Yeah? Okay, gracias. We're ready.
Ready? So the time now is 6:02. We're going to be commencing the Wednesday, February 15th, 2023 Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. We'll call the meeting to order.
6:02.
Anna's here.
Oh, Anna's there. Hi.
We'll start, have Miguel start us off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Hi, Anna.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item.
Item 3, roll call. Ivan Chavez Jr., Commissioner and Committee Chair.
Here.
Miguel Casanova.
Here.
Ivan Chavez Sr.
Here.
Alexander Diaz.
Here.
Zachariah, I have not received, so he's not here. Marcos Lopez.
Here.
And new member Cristina Barona.
Here.
Is present, and our special guest Ana Raymond is present, and you have quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item.
Item 4, approval of minutes for January 11, 2022 Recreation Advisory Board meeting.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
Do we have a motion?
Oh, motion. Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Motion by Mike, second by Chavez Jr. Senior. Are all in favor?
Aye.
Any against?
Next
Okay.
item.
Item 5, old business, none this evening. Item 6, under new business, the swearing in of newly appointed member Cristina Barona, and the oath will be administered by the city clerk. So, let's do it.
Let me take a picture.
So you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Cristina Barona,
Cristina Verona,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and will obey the laws of the United States of America
and will obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I will, in all respects,
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and the ordinances of the City of West Miami,
and the ordinances of the City of West Miami,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Recreation Advisory Board member
of Recreational Advisory Board member
of the City of West Miami.
of the City of West Miami.
Congratulations. Can I get not the that one, the lucky one?
Thank you.
This we sign. We have 2 originals, one for us and one for you, for your record and for your memory book.
Thank you.
This one and this one too. Okay. So I'm gonna witness and the manager will attest.
Thank you.
I'm a lefty, so I do things al revés.
Lefty and like almost upside down.
I was gonna say 90 degrees.
I used to get really nailed by the nuns when I was little at St. Peter and Paul.
They're not allowed to do that anymore.
Like that, you won't get the ink on your hand.
This is true. This is,
My mother, who was a child psychologist specialized in early education, she went there and gave the nuns
So
help. She said,
welcome.
Thank
"You
you.
guys are gonna mess up with her
Sorry.
brain. Leave her alone. If that's how she feels comfortable writing, let it be."
Well, welcome aboard officially, Christina.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here.
Okay, so we go to the next
Zach is
item.
here.
Oh, Zach is here.
Great.
6:07.
How are you, sir?
Okay, next item is item 6B, updates on ongoing projects by Director of Public Works.
As of the last city commission meeting, we ordered the playground set to replace the old exercise equipment set next to the pavilion. As of today, that old set is removed, and we're waiting for arrival of the new set that should be here at the end of the month and installed within 2 weeks after that. The park lights for the baseball field, the opening of the bids is tomorrow at 2 p.m. And at that time, we will know what it's going to cost us to do the work. And the tennis courts bid is opening on the 17th, which is Friday at 2 p.m. And then we'll know what it's going to cost us to do the work there. All work needs to be done by April 30th, so contractors
April
are,
20th. So we can have
You
time
keep
to
saying
close
30th.
it out.
contractors are aware of that.
April 30th is the end of the grant
but you have
cycle,
to be-
but we
right.
gotta do it 10
Everything
days
is
in
signed up,
advance,
yeah.
because we gotta take
Demolition
pictures
of
and
the
the progress
racquetball court.
reports and all the stuff that the
Demolition of the
state
racquetball
wants, so.
Demolition of the racquetball court should start within the next week.
Oh, good.
The demo?
Yeah, the equipment is on site and the contract's been awarded.
Okay.
So how soon?
The new equipment, one, it's
next
for the
week.
rec?
Next week.
The new equipment, the new exercise equipment for the rec or the one for?
No, it's a new playground equipment
For
for the rec
For
center,
the rec, okay.
next to the existing playground.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you're gonna have two?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Where are we at with the Cooper Park outdoor equipment?
We're still waiting for award by the state on that for that.
Okay, but any time frame on that? Nothing?
We don't know.
Usually by March, April maybe. We'll know more or less if we're
No,
in
I
the
think
running.
it's when the governor signs the
Yeah,
budget.
we're in
that's
the
when
running.
we'll know.
We'll know
Exactly.
sometime,
We'll
yeah.
get a list of where we are in terms of ranking.
Yeah.
And all these meetings are very important because we can score higher if we have these meetings and the board is active
Yeah.
with all these recreational projects. So we should do very well.
That's the only other thing pending, right?
Correct.
Obviously
Right.
besides the gym that's being built.
Right, and all these items that mentioned by Mr. Penna, with the exception of the demolition of the racquetball court, these are all grant money that we're matching, but there's $200,000 there that come from the state, so.
So long as it's
hopefully-
completed by that April.
Exactly,
20th,
so
30th.
that'll give that park a big boost,
Mhm.
Yeah.
especially with the teams, baseball and softball academies. I think we're gonna become a very interesting venue for leagues.
Yeah, they have a basketball, league, school going there on Thursday too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's nice.
Soccer, basketball?
Yeah.
No, the park is hopping. If you pass there any day of the week,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
like hopping.
Some pickleball tournaments going too.
Yeah. Soon,
Yeah,
soon.
soon.
All right, cool. Thank you for the update, Mr. Penna.
And then I'm so sorry,
No worries.
Mr. Chairman, do you have a packet from Mr. Zacharias?
Here you go. You can have it.
Yeah, we can share.
No,
We can
I-
share. Tranquilo.
I already memorized it.
All right.
You got it
Oh
to
my
memory.
God, el hombre.
Well, maybe we have two here.
For a second, you believed that.
All right, you got one, I think we have two.
Next item.
Item D is a discussion in reference to, update by Anna Ramon in reference to new weight room equipment lease options and or purchase options and projected cost to equipment.
Right, so, because I was away in Portugal.
Nice, finally made it out there.
Ay, 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 it was beautiful. So, in any case, he had given me this, after the last meeting that I
Right.
went to. He gave me this and then I just got back and then he just sent me the updated version, which I didn't have a chance to print out, but I did add, the only two things missing here was the delivery and the rubber flooring. Okay, this would be the one for equipment that is partially, some of the machines are new and some are used. Okay, and then the other one is the one where you can see if you bought everything brand new, okay? And here he didn't, because this is the one he did after I got back.
Right.
This does include the rubber flooring and the delivery and everything. This is what it is, all new, and this is what it would be if you lease it for 36 months. If you do the math, if you lease for 36 months, you do end up paying more than that,
More, because you
Yeah.
have interest on the lease.
of course. It
What
would
are those
be
values? Just,
So
we don't
let
have
me-
that
let me-
documentation.
Okay.
5324. So if you lease it,
For 36 months.
which is a 36-month lease, and then after 36 months you have to, whatever. It's 191,664. This is 146 if you just pay it up
Almost
front.
$50,000 of interest.
Yeah.
in lease.
That's
By
what
leasing it.
that's what happens when
But
you
that's,
lease.
that would be new equipment.
New equipment is 146, including flooring and delivery.
So we have set aside 140, right?
We have, 120.
120.
And-
Because 20 went to the AC.
And the combination of the used is would be right around that much, under 120. Because it would be the 79 plus the rubber flooring and the delivery.
Now, some of these equipment is refurbished, you mentioned?
Yes, some of it is
and
refurbished.
Comes with a warranty that we
3
can
years.
purchase?
It's right here.
With
3-year
your
warranty
experience,
included. That
with your
3-year
experience,
warranty included.
the equipment, the used equipment that we buy, it's is it worth to invest money on the new equipment, or it's okay, it's fine to buy the used equipment with your experience or not?
With my experience,
Yes.
when it's refurbished, it's basically
like
almost
brand
like
new. I
new.
know.
It's almost like new.
Yes.
You know, it's like
Yes.
like in the cars when you buy a car that's been like just used for a
Only the
little bit.
steel stay there, but the rest
Yeah,
itself,
yeah.
everything will change. And so.
Of course, new is always better, but
Comes with a
you're gonna
premium.
pay more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By 20 grand or so.
No, it's
Oh,
about.
premium.
It's about.
About $40,000.
Well, let's say this is 80, 84.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's about 83, and then you have the rubber flooring is about another 17. This is about 105, more give or take.
And
Is
is
that
there
a
any
question down there in
benefits
the
to the
corner?
leasing?
I'm sorry.
Like, there's no benefit to the leasing?
The leasing only benefits the person that doesn't have the money and they
Oh,
don't have
doesn't have the
another
money.
Yeah, 'cause
option.
you-
Okay,
your-
yeah.
your
'Cause
payments
pay
are
50
smaller.
a
Yeah.
year. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
But if you have the
Question down
money,
in the
it's
corner.
not worth it because then you're paying all that money in interest.
What equipment are we talking about in terms of the refurbished equipment? Because it makes a difference. If what you're refurbishing is the mechanical moving part equipment, leg extensions, cables, whatever, as opposed to a bench press. You can make a bench press look brand new and,
No, those are the ones you have to buy new because those are the ones that get torn up the most. The free
Right, but-
weights and the benches.
but what you're
Those are
talking about
new.
is the padding gets refurbed.
It gets nicks and knacks and people
Right.
put their plates up against them and, you know, that's something
It
that the
gets
floor monitor,
abused.
oh, the free weights is what gets abused the most.
So what is it that's being refurbished? The free weights?
Everything else except the free weights.
Stairmasters.
The
things
free
like-
weights you have to buy new, otherwise it's gonna look used.
The rest of it is
Is
the
refurbished,
refurbished.
yes.
And it's 100
It's
something
all
thousand
here.
less. So that's.
It's almost 50, it's almost like a, yeah. It's
Significant.
Like $60,000
Right.
difference, I would say. So,
What is the warranty on the new equipment?
what did he, 3 years, es lo mismo.
What's the same?
They give you 3 years the same,
On refurbished, I mean,
yes.
Because it's
it'll get less use than where it's coming from at our gym, more than likely.
Eso no se sabe. There's
Well, no,
way
I
of
mean,
knowing.
No, yeah, 'cause
it
it's
stands to
smaller,
reason.
yeah.
We don't know where it's
You
coming
get
from.
refurbished
Yeah.
from some big, gym.
We just know that this was probably equipment that was leased and a lot of gyms go out of business and things like that.
They buy it.
Company takes the equipment back, you know, they resell it or release it, so,
And they would install it, obviously, with this.
yes. Yes, the installation, everything is here. Installation, delivery charges, you know, setting it up, getting everything to work properly. And then there's also they also included a 1 year, I believe, a maintenance contract for a year, which you can renew every year thereafter.
And how much is the maintenance contract?
The maintenance contract is $3,900.
And it probably goes up every year because the older the equipment.
Usually they want to keep the client.
The
so
warranty, it include parts and service or just parts? Or you don't know?
It's, the warranty would probably just include the parts and like switching out the machine if for some reason it can't be repaired.
So lemon law there?
Probably not the service.
Is the warranty or is the service fee only during the warranty life, or is it continues after the
No,
warranty
the
ends?
service contract you can renew every year
So,
thereafter for as long as you need it.
I have a question for you. Is the lease on new equipment available for 2 years? rather than 3?
So less interest, presumably.
It's not interest, it's just the payments are more.
Yeah.
You pay less at the beginning, but eventually it costs more money.
You're gonna end up paying more. Maybe there
Right.
is, I can
Right.
ask, I don't know.
No, I know the interest
That's a
is
good
steep.
question, I can ask, but, yeah.
The way I see it, Mr. Chairman, we got 3 choices. To go with the refurbished equipment and take a chance on this refurbished equipment and obviously be covered by a maintenance agreement. Or
Or you could go with the new.
outright buy the equipment, brand new,
147,
or
let's say.
buy or lease, purchase the equipment over a period of time, whatever that is.
So it's 147, and then the other price is what? Just to,
The other price, hold on, let me look at it. He just sent me that email, so. I don't have to-
147, that would be 27
Everything
over
new.
budget.
That would be completely, everything new,
That
including
would be
delivery,
27 over, no, that would be, yeah.
including the mats, the
Oh, the
rubber flooring.
rubberized.
Lower budget.
Yeah, the thing is that the rubberized flooring,
It's expensive.
yeah, that's $17,225.
Wow.
And that's gonna be the same on either one, because that's gonna be new.
What about the wood flooring in the other room?
They don't
yoga room?
do that.
Yeah, no, but that's, we have to factor that in also, no?
Yeah, the flooring could probably be a
In the
separate.
side room,
In the.
Yoga room.
In the
Yoga
yoga
room.
room.
in the yoga room, I
like a
don't think
wooden-
we're gonna be putting equipment in there.
No,
No, but the
it-
flooring
you
specific, like-
Normally have to, you can't just do that bare concrete.
No.
it's like a
Of course
wooden
not.
floor or
So we're
something.
gonna need some money in budget to cover that up.
Juan, is that contemplated in the proposal from OAC?
No, it's polished concrete,
Polished concrete.
like you see at Home Depot.
That
So
should come
buy yoga
afterward.
mats for now, I guess.
Wait, yeah, I guess
Can I
they
ask
each
you
could
a
use
question?
yoga mats. Is
Can
that
the city
special flooring
get a loan?
in a yoga room typically? Or just
It doesn't matter.
PVC laminate?
Yeah, if you do the laminate, you know.
Because
that's
that could
the
be,
cheapest way to
our
go.
Public Works just buys the
Yeah,
PVC
it's like a couple
laminate.
grand.
Laminate is
Right.
easy, it's
Yeah,
like, you
it's
know.
cheaper too. It's
Yeah,
very
that's what
cheap.
all the developers.
Yeah, I say
put
wood because
houses
it
that-
looks
all the
like
houses
wood,
have that
yeah.
floor,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
the cheapest way to go.
I'm sorry,
The
Mike.
question, Yolanda, can the city get a loan
For the equipment?
for all the, yeah, because it's a lot of money, instead of coming out with $150,000, 5.5, we can get a loan for 5 years
Right.
and just pay the loan.
It's expensive now.
Yeah.
Loans
I mean,
are
we-
expensive. I mean, we
We-
got a loan for our garbage truck, right, Penna? And we have a loan for the Public Works building, which we're halfway done paying for that loan.
But we have the money right now, we have the
We
120.
have the money,
For the
but
use.
we have to, remember, and we talked about it, we have to have the floor monitoring, you have to have an athletic director
That's what I'm
per
saying.
se that runs the activity for this. Although John Michael is the park director, I believe that for liability purposes and then some, to make it a real wellness center, you need someone who
You need
has the
someone there,
background.
or be someone there.
And somebody who can, check the equipment for you, make sure that everybody's working out in a safe, in a safe mode. And for many reasons, I think we're gonna need 2 full-time people and possibly a 3rd person. You gotta cover 7 days a week. You're gonna have to change your hours to make it inviting for people. And we talked about it as early as 7 a.m. or even earlier, 6 o'clock in the morning to 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Because people have,
They like to work out
different
before they go to work.
schedules.
Yeah.
Or they like to work out when they come back, or maybe we can include some group classes. I'm so sorry.
So Anna, so you said 147, what was the other amount?
You could go with, all new would be 146,744. Here you go, take a look at it. And then, if you go with part new and part refurbished, you're looking at about 100.
So that would leave us with a $20,000
That leaves us
surplus in our
$20,000
budget to
for
do
the
the
wood
flooring of
floor.
the yoga, right?
This is, I can send you
Yeah, that's yours.
the new one if you want to your email.
Okay,
That's already included there,
Perfect.
because he just sent it to me.
Right, and if you want, you can send it to Aneri, and Aneri will
Oh,
copy everyone
okay.
here.
So I send it to
and
Aneri.
And to Commissioner Chavez.
Another question, the existing building, if it goes out of budget, is that would be a problem, or shouldn't it go out of budget at all?
Which,
The new building for the new well center,
What do you mean out of budget?
I don't know, maybe something comes
go
up that
over,
is not
yeah.
there and the fund
We
doesn't.
have
100, right?
contingencies built into the contract.
we have the
We're
money for that?
We're confident that we
Half and
will
half was
meet
100?
Okay.
the money that we have set aside for the building. But remember, that's gonna
use the
take
new.
getting into reserves, cutting into reserves.
That's what I'm saying.
So, will a bank allow us to borrow money for the purchase of equipment for a gym? I don't know. I gotta find out. It's definitely, I'm looking at it from a, business perspective, very simple. Loan for 5 years is gonna cost us around $30,000 a year, which will lower our initial liability of paying upfront.
Exactly, right,
¿Tú
that's
me
it.
entiendes? So we will
We'll pay a little
start-
more, but we have money left
but
in the.
30,000
not
and how
only that,
much?
we gotta incorporate operational expenses
Right.
year-round for the wellness center.
Right.
You have to pay employees, and you have to pay benefits, because it is what
Yeah,
it is.
So no matter what option we choose, we're looking at a loan anyhow, because
You're looking at a loan.
we have 105,000 for the refurbished. Leaves us 15 grand. We still have to do a wood floor potentially, and then pay employees.
Not only that, we have to take care of, the outside, we gotta paint it, we gotta keep up with the property.
Right.
Right now, we're into our 12th year, I believe, on the main building, and we have to set aside money to do the
12 years,
flooring.
right,
12 years
old.
already. So we gotta redo the flooring there now, we gotta paint, so you build it, and you have to look at sustainability, and you know how that goes.
And
mean-
do we own it post-lease if we were to lease the equipment, or would we have to buy it, like a car?
I'm not sure about that.
If you,
I'd
I
have
think
to
if you
ask
do
them.
that, it's
Good
gonna cost
question.
more money. It's like if you lease a car and then you
Might
buy
as well just buy
afterwards,
it.
Yeah.
it's gonna cost you more
I
money.
think- I think
Either get a loan on the
Yeah.
side, or buy the whole
if
equipment.
we can get a loan
Right,
for
I think those
equipment,
should be the
I
two
don't
options.
know.
Yeah,
So-
I'll say that should be the two options.
So let's do a quick vote then. Purchase or lease? I think we're all in favor of purchasing, right?
Purchasing.
Okay, well, I
So-
think we should set out the 3 options and then take a vote on,
Well, there's only 2 options. Purchasing new or purchasing used, because the lease option is gone already.
right, okay.
So now we decide if we want to purchase brand new or used. Either way, we have a 3-year warranty, we have a maintenance schedule that's included as well. We have a subject matter expert here saying that the equipment, even though it's used, is basically brand new as well.
They're giving you a 3 years warranty, the same on both of those.
Right.
That means,
Well, to be clear, it's a combination of new and used, correct?
Right,
Yes.
right,
But either way, we're gonna have to get
A loan.
right. The difference is $42,000 for getting brand new versus getting,
but that might make a difference to the lender.
Definitely. You'll probably get a lower interest rate on new equipment if it's
Because
possible.
banks don't understand anything.
No,
So
especially
if you
with
go there,
government.
you can sit there and explain to them that it's virtually the same. They're just gonna hear new and they're gonna hear refurbished. Talking to bankers is like talking to a wall.
but I don't think we need a loan for equipment though, because we have 120,000 and we have 105 grand is the cost of the equipment. We
You'll
would,
get the loan for
need a
the
loan for
Yolanda is
the
saying that
others.
we need money for the personnel to run the.
Right, but when it comes to a bank, you're not,
That's operational expenses.
yeah, you're not talking about new
Then we have
and
another
used.
thing looming, which really is great that the advisory board is listening to it. We have a problem with our bus, and our bus is transporting over 140 kids a day to the after-school.
Which bus?
Our-
The new electric one?
No, no, no. That's the one that was sent out to
Like,
the
already?
rec center. It's a bus that's what, how many years?
The other one,
I think I wrote that one.
10 years?
Probably did. That piece of gum is still
No,
on
you
there.
didn't. You told me that was
205.
2000 and- So it's more than 10 years old.
Yeah, 15.
Well, 5.
It's
20
like
years.
17 years old.
So that's a future expense.
I think we
That
did
is an
actually.
immediate
Right, road.
expense.
Okay, but-
And
That could be possibly rolled into that loan with the operational expenses. We're still talking about buying the equipment, right?
right.
And in terms of,
Some
I think if I heard it
decisions-
right, somebody was saying potentially roll the purchase of the equipment into the loan since we're getting a loan anyway. But I'm no mathematician, but that just means you're gonna be paying more for a loan anyway, right? Because
Right.
now the
And
amount's
we
bigger.
need to, I like to err in the side of caution. That's worked out for us from a budget perspective. I mean, I don't know what the future holds here, but I'm hoping that property values, they're gonna adjust, and they're gonna adjust downward, because properties have declined. it's not only what West Miami's selling at, it's the surrounding area. It's affected by, the property values or your assessments are affected by that. So we don't have any new development in the pipeline. We don't have anything other than, recurring revenue from the assessments. And if I were a betting woman, I would say this year we're probably gonna be down 3 to 5%, which for us, 5% is
It's a lot of
huge.
money.
It's huge. And the recreation center runs on a separate enterprise fund. So the millage, the worth of the millage is going to be reduced because of assessed values. So that's less money coming into the rec. And you're going to have to spend more money to operate the rec. Because that's, and that's true, holds true with tennis courts, basketball courts, field lights, you build it, but they have a lifespan. And then what do you do when everything breaks down? You have to build reserves.
You need a maintenance.
Well, that's where we have to get creative
So-
and bring revenue to the park with tournaments, with things like that. I mean, to when the
And
gym gets
gym
built.
and-
so-
gym
well,
too, with the silver
gym,
sneakers.
exactly.
Yeah, silver sneakers.
And the classes,
And the
you can charge
classes.
separately,
Can the seat apply for that program?
and
You
personal
know?
training.
I
The silver
talked to
sneakers?
you briefly about that
Yeah.
program. I don't know if we qualify because we're a governmental agency. I know that many of these private or
LA Fitness,
501c3s, because we're not a 501c3, I don't know how they would view us from an application to participate. I don't know.
Insurance companies will usually give their insured the option of where they want to go. And will pay the same amount no matter where they go.
Right.
Because they could pick to go to U Fitness, whatever, the cheapest one, $10 a month, or they could choose LA Fitness, the most expensive, and it's the same
And
because
it's the same. They
because
give you
Silver
a set
Sneakers
amount.
is a set amount
It's a set amount.
wherever they go.
Yeah, but go ahead.
That's based on the individual. So before, we were kind of thinking maybe that Silver Sneakers cut a check to whatever facility every month.
Depending on how many individuals you have that
But I
are
think,
signed up at your
Uh,
gym.
I called around and what I was told was that they pay per visit. So it's not like a
Per
Right.
visit.
preset amount. Yeah, so from the people that I spoke to on the phone is when they go to that gym that specific day, if they go to LA Fitness today, if they go
We
tomorrow
never
to
kept track of visits.
Well, with the
That's-
cards,
yeah.
Maybe now they changed.
yeah, with scanning.
I'll find out.
Well,
I'll
we'll
call,
get,
I'll call,
20 bucks for him, 20 bucks for the other?
Yeah.
I'll call one of the VPs
bigger,
at LA
buddy.
Fitness and find out if anything changed since I left. I've been
And
gone for 3 years.
I mean, I think the residents, all the individuals that go to the park, we were just talking about baseball. I mean, if your kid's playing baseball, practicing is not necessarily a game. Maybe you come over to the gym. I think there'll be a lot of opportunity there
To generate
to
revenue.
generate some sort of revenue. And
Absolutely.
it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to use the facility. That's a good part about it. It's not you pay per use. You're
Right.
paying a monthly, and
Right.
if it's nominal,
And-
people will forget about it and they'll just
may-
keep paying.
We
You're
may be able to
absolutely
offset that
right.
5%
That's exactly what
loss.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's not an
And-
outrageous amount, you say,
Because
oh no,
they-
I'm
because
gonna
they
go
said they're
that
gonna
small."
use it. No,
Another
I'm gonna
thing
use it, I'm gonna use
Are
it.
we
Yeah.
going to,
You forget about
are
it.
we going to limit outsiders from using the wellness center? Or these are all decisions that the commission needs to make as we go along.
Are
you
we allowed
going
to do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think you have to let the public in.
Just pay a high
But
they
you
pay
have
higher.
it in
membership.
tiers, exactly, just like when
Like
we
you do
rent
with
the
the kids,
venues.
like you do
Yeah.
with the
Well,
kid-
we
with
could
the
have a cap on
childcare.
membership.
I'm sorry?
We could have a cap on membership.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
then it doesn't matter whether you're a resident or non-resident, after we get to a certain amount of membership, which is guaranteed income, because these people are gonna be paying on a monthly basis, then after that,
I don't know.
we say, look, until someone leaves the gym, then we can't
We-
put you on a wait
yeah,
list.
I don't-
Another option
That
is
never really
give it a
happens.
window for residents and a window for outside
course.
the
Yeah.
city residents, so that way you can
There's a
maybe,
difference.
right, you know that the residents are gonna always be comfortable coming,
Right.
and then don't cap it for outsiders, because then, obviously you wanna bring in more revenue, you don't wanna cap people that wanna pay.
Okay, so what are our options again?
All right, so I think, Mr. Chairman, you were gonna have to
Take
entertain
the school bus back to the rec. Let's
you're
buy the
gonna have to
equipment already.
entertain a motion on which one of the options, whether we want to buy,
New or used.
or, I mean, lease.
Right, so let's knock that out.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion on purchasing new versus purchasing used? Motion.
New
is-
use.
You
It's
you
new
gotta
use.
take two motions.
Okay, so let's take a
One-
motion on who wants to purchase new. We'll take any motion on that item. All right. Nobody's in favor of that one, so we'll move on to a motion to who wants to purchase used.
New used?
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. Item passes unanimously, so we're purchasing used.
New and used. It's not
New and
Yeah,
used,
it's
right.
pretty much-
New and
pretty much
used.
new.
It doesn't say
Right.
used, it says refurbished.
Refurbished is the word.
Pre-owned.
The combo, the combo.
So,
We're going to
right.
Preload.
So
garage
that leaves
sale
us,
and buy them.
that leaves us roughly 15 grand in that $120,000 that was set aside to maybe do the yoga floor, and
Right.
then the bus later, we can
Right.
kind of kick that down the road and hopefully interest rates drop by then and we get a loan on a bus.
I have a feeling we have to tackle that real soon with
Yeah.
inflation.
And the other bus won't work for those purposes?
The one we got for the seniors, no, that's dedicated to the community center.
So it can't be like a multi-use bus?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, okay. Because if they don't use it at the same time,
They don't, but it all depends if they have an activity, you know, they have field trips and stuff like that, then you may have a conflict. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do. We are looking at buses now. We're looking at the sheriff's bid right now. They're very expensive, but that's something a bank would let you borrow money on.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
I
you
don't
have an
think
asset,
they'll let
that's
you borrow
easy.
money on equipment.
yeah,
So I think that one's easy.
okay. So there's an option.
Yep.
All right, so I think
And
that
we still
item,
have reserves, which is good. I mean, we
But
want to build on our
They know the
reserves.
city's not gonna default on the loan. I don't know why they wanna let you loan the money. They know the money's.
Things are, you know.
Some cities have defaulted.
Yeah.
Maybe not this
Listen,
one.
I've
Maybe
been
not this
around,
one.
you know that you're a government employee.
Yeah.
There's some wild things going on
Things
out there.
happen.
Things have definitely.
So-
Anna, so now that we voted on that, are the specific items already set in stone? Or are we still deciding on what kind of equipment? That's it, right? What's in that list is what we're getting?
This is pretty much it. The thing that now that it's like, if something might not be available in time
Right.
for opening, these things take time to get delivered. So, once you place the order, then they have to go down the line and make sure that that's available at this time.
Are we still on track for September at the latest for the gym to be completed?
Hasn't started yet, but yeah.
So
September?
would that equipment be here by then? I'm
No,
assuming,
no,
right?
June, actually.
June?
Yeah.
Well, worst case September, I think, right?
I think June is a very aggressive,
Optimistic.
I wouldn't go with that because we're coming up on rainy months.
I think, shoot for a day where the building is already finished,
Yeah.
okay? Because we go there before, and they're gonna sit outside, and we're gonna have place to keep it, so it's better to be empty for a month or so, and wait for the equipment to
And
come
you
in.
have to do the flooring
Yeah.
first and
Now,
all that.
will they hold that price?
Yes, no, once you put the deposit,
Yeah,
that's
put the
it.
deposit.
Yeah, but what I want to avoid too is having the gym done and then the equipment's now 6 months
No,
back.
no, no,
So
no,
we
I
have
know,
to
I know,
figure
no,
out that.
no.
Usually the most it will take, according to what they told me, is around 9 months.
So
Some of the
So we
equipment,
should-
not all of them.
Not
we
all
should be
of them.
ordering
Yeah,
this already.
so you'll be
then.
missing a few equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you remember, you have to do the rubber flooring first. Everything has to be like done. The last thing is for that equipment to be put in.
Well, September's worst case for us, right?
And,
So
and
that this
It's 9
is
months.
this is 2 months behind that.
That's like 7 months, yeah.
So even longer. So we
And
should
do-
order this already.
do we start paying when all the equipment is here and put into the wellness center?
No,
or-
you pay when
You
you
gotta-
order,
Right, when you order, you give a deposit.
right? And then I don't know how they break it down. With the different companies do different things.
Right.
They may charge you another portion of it right before the delivery, and then the final at the
Got
delivery.
it.
They may do something like that.
That's fine.
It varies depending on the company.
So, Madam Manager, since we voted on this,
Wait,
is this
it's in. Fabio, do they pay for the equipment?
volunteer to
when they
inspect
order
the
all of it, or
equipment
is it like a
before we pay for
deposit,
anything.
and then another portion, and then the
Good
rest at the
question.
end?
Good question. We,
It's right there.
yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah, okay, so we're looking
may
at
have
a
to-
And a
used
pro
one
bono for him.
Save it for another meeting.
with
Doesn't have to be
the
discussed in this
new,
meeting.
Yeah, right.
with the new
Don't
freeway.
get me
So
started.
more or less give you an idea, text it to me so I can give them
March
an idea
first.
of how the payments
question
are gonna
Zach
be.
just asked is a good one too.
And these are,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, that's a very
Probably
good
has to
question
look
on the
at,
bid, and the
and then
answer
we
is
might-
anytime
we'll get a
you
look.
go over the threshold that the manager is authorized because it's budgeted, you do have to go through a procurement process. So, let's say, we prepare specs based on what you all have discussed and decided upon. Those bids will be opened by the city and taken to the city commission, and the city commissioner will ultimately make the decision on the expense. So, yes, I was gonna say, the fact that this board has overwhelmingly approved the option to lease the refurbished equipment and some new. Purchase, I'm sorry, purchase it, doesn't mean that the commission is going to approve it. It has to go through the next steps. I think that a report from the chairman is, I think, right now, the next step would be a report from the chairman and disclose what the board is recommending, and then we will be instructed to prepare a specifications and bid contract. We publish that on Demand Star, and whoever bids on it, and we'll look at that. I mean, you've been working with us, so, you know, there's
Do
certain
they
amount
have to
of,
be registered vendors with the city or no?
No.
No? They have to be.
anyone can be,
Oh,
who
okay,
has a
good.
license, insurance,
Right.
you know, whatever, bonding capacity, if that is an issue here as well, it's either the cash or the insurance policy, the bonding capacity.
Because with the county, everything was, you have to be a registered vendor, not machine. Don't you sell a pencil.
Another thing with the
And everybody,
refurbished,
everything with the county is 10 times more
Oh,
expensive
yes.
because of the procurement
Oh,
process.
yes, oh, yes.
so
very
with the
expensive.
new and refurbished equipment, like I was just thinking, are they gonna match?
It has to.
It has to
Yes.
match, right? We're not gonna have a green machine, a
No.
blue machine, because they came from different gyms.
No.
That's why I
Frankenstein.
asked. Can you imagine? We have like a, like,
No,
we're
no.
doing a new gym, we don't wanna look
Good
like.
question.
I want it to look new.
Can we
Please
pick a
no.
color for the machines?
I don't know. I
I'm
don't know.
just throwing that
They're
in.
usually
Right.
all about the same.
Yeah, I know, I
Usually
know.
either
I'm
white or
kidding.
gray.
No, because
Yeah.
U-fits are horrible, they're that lime green.
Oh, I know, but they
It's-
have
don't
those
like the
special
purple?
made.
The other purple.
They're moving on though.
There's purple, green,
It's
some
purple and green,
colors,
eh?
yellow.
We started getting gray ones.
And
now.
pink.
They get fancy with the colors.
Yeah, usually it's white or the silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that item is.
I'm sorry, is there a way to inspect these machines before they get here?
That's a good question. I can ask.
I mean, I'm sure they're coming from somewhere else potentially,
Yes.
but at some point they gotta come into a local warehouse.
Right.
Right. But they could probably maybe send pictures.
Or
You
just
could
open
look
the
at.
door and I'll go over there and say, these are earmarked for us, let me check it out.
Go have a workout over there real quick.
One
Yeah,
question
I
is,
gotta go crazy.
they have 3 years warranty, but do
Yes.
they have a year, parts on labor free for a year or something, or 6 months or a month or something like that, or not?
No, it just says 3 years warranty, delivery included, and then labor. I think it's separate.
But it, does it have like 6 months with 100% guarantee on the machine, or 3 months?
Let me make a note of that.
And the maintenance wouldn't cover that labor.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
The
but
maintenance is just general.
usually when you buy
maintenance.
something, they usually give you a month of guarantee for the whole month, or 2 months, 3 months, whatever. When
And the
something
labor
breaks down,
cost.
everything's included in that.
And how
Parts
much
of-
is the labor cost per hour?
Yeah, that's
That's-
very important.
And the
So
labor,
you have to use their people, they can charge whatever they want.
that's what I was gonna say, is the labor from the same,
Yeah, but remember, all
Company
that's
that's
gonna
giving us
go
the
through the
warranty.
bid, so we determine
Oh,
that.
you're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in the bid process, we need to talk to them about, you know, an inspection of the machines,
Mm-hmm.
labor costs, you know, and also a
And
full
then-
disclosure of the warranty
Yes.
on the equipment at the
Yes.
time of bid.
Yes.
All gone.
And give you the maintenance for
so much.
1 year, 2 years, 3 years, how much you need, for 4 years, however far you want to take it.
Disclosure of warranty,
I'm asking right now, does it include parts and labor?
right.
All right, well, we still have time then, because this isn't gonna be done by the next meeting, now that we have to send it out for RFPs, et cetera, so, safe to move on to the next item?
Yes, sir?
Cool. Next item, ma'am?
Item 60, discussion in reference to heart screening awareness program at the City of West Miami Recreation Center, an announcement of an AED donation from the Brianna Vergara Foundation to be presented in the near future to the City of West Miami.
You want to speak?
No, go ahead.
All right,
You
so-
know everything.
I was put in touch with Nikki Zuri, our resident, and Jesus Vergara, who's the father of Brianna. She was 11 years old at the time that she passed away. She was a dancer. They didn't know she had a heart condition, so they started a foundation to do two things. They actually do heart screenings in conjunction with Nicholas Children's Hospital, and they do a 5K. They're on their 8th annual 5K in Miami Lakes this year. They use that to raise money so they can get AEDs and basically donate AEDs to different places. They want to donate one to us for our rec center. So on March 12th is their 5K. They want somebody from the city to be in attendance. I'm on shift, but I'm trying to get it off. I'd like to be there to accept that AED.
Calling sick.
Yeah.
They won't know.
But once we do get that AED, then we'll come to our rec center and then we'll do a presentation there. And then the goal is to get our rec center employees trained, because it's one thing to have the AED,
Yeah.
another thing to be able to use it. It's designed for the lay person to be able to use it. As long as you know how to turn it on, it has, it tells you with an
Commands,
actual
tell you
voice,
what to
it has
do.
commands. There's ones that speak in English and Spanish. We'll see which one we get, but basically it's easy to use. But I'd still like our employees to be trained in how to use it, and then also in CPR before we put that at our rec center, just so that we can make sure that our kids are safe. The other thing to add to that is that, just as I mentioned, they do heart screenings for free with Children's Hospital. I would like to do some sort of a town hall, and tonight at the commission meeting I'm going to discuss it further, where we invite parents from our different rec leagues and parents from around the neighborhood to bring their kids, and we'll do a presentation. We'll bring speakers in. Nikki will be there as well. The foundation will be there, and they're going to explain what AEDs are, the importance of them, explain the heart screening process, and then basically get a buy-in from the community to see how many parents want their kids screened. So I don't know, do you want to say your story? Or?
Yeah, no, it takes like 2 minutes for an EKG. I don't know if any of you have
Yeah.
had an EKG then. But this little girl, I became friends with her family. My son was diagnosed with, we changed insurance, so I had to go to a new primary care. He had been going to the same primary since he was born. He was 12 years old, and I go to a new primary, and they're like, oh, you should get an EKG. They're like, okay. So my son's skinny, not overweight, and it came back abnormal. So the very next day, we went to Children's, saw the cardiologist. He was diagnosed with Wolff Parkinson White disease, which is the same that this little girl passed away from. It's an extra electrical current in your heart, so you can go into tachycardia. So my son had a cardiac ablation a couple days after.
Yeah.
But if it weren't for the fact that
Yeah.
he had gotten the EKG, he was playing basketball at the Boys and Girls Club, very active kid. So that was why I'm trying to push. It's not a scary thing, just, it takes 2 seconds for an EKG.
Yeah, and again, it's free, it's non-invasive, they do it very quickly, and it can actually save lives. That checkup can save a kid's life. And then in addition to that, we're going to have an AED with fully trained staff. So our park will be extremely safe to use. There are a lot of kids that are enjoying that park. They have been for years. And this is
Not
just...
only that, the older people that
Older
are there
folk,
for
yeah.
quinceañeras and
Right,
and the
yeah.
ballroom,
Yeah, there's the AEDs for all ages.
All ages.
So they have pads for pediatrics and for adults. So, and again, it's the same thing. You push a button and it has prompts. You just listen to the prompts and...
Yeah, when it comes to cardiac issues and somebody going into, in a child's case, respiratory to cardiac arrest or cardiac arrest, that first minute is critical. That's why even, in CPR, we used to give 2 breaths and then compression. Now it's start compressions. You know what I mean? So to be able to defibrillate somebody, and like was already said, these machines are self-explanatory. If you can push on and read and listen, you can do it. The thing is, you got to get it used to as a public service person, a public employee, get used to just grabbing and going. Get everybody knowing where it's at, and the first thing they should think of if somebody goes down, go grab the AED.
That's what they do with the training, and we actually had the training at
That's the
LA
big-
Fitness and also the CPR, and we saved a man's life. He
Yeah.
was playing racquetball. He had
They're
a heart
phenomenal.
attack, They were doing the CPR, but nothing. He was already turning purple until we got the machine over to the racquetball court. We put it on him, came back.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
actually,
important.
I think there should actually be maybe two, because like one in the main building, because now you're gonna have this big gym, and one in the old, which
office.
is closer to the
park.
baseball.
Oh, and the bathroom restroom area.
Well, I was discussing something similar to, with a friend, talking about when I was doing inspections and talking about like, fire extinguishers by code had to be within 75 feet.
Right.
You know, I don't know exactly what the code is for an AED, but when it comes to time sensitivity, it shouldn't take you more than 30 seconds to grab an AED. You know what I mean? So maybe it's something that this city can be a trendsetter on, instead of just having one per building, have one in multiple locations, same kind of thing, where we don't want our employee to have to wait more than 30 seconds to grab it and be back.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking, when you guys have the soccer and baseball out there, there's no rec employee out there
Right.
with an intercom
Right.
that could call. These are all, I mean, we're making money by having these teams there, but there's nobody, it's not a call away. They would have to run all the way and get somebody.
And then this is on the agenda tonight here because we all use our rec center, right? Like, we're always there. So by us being here, we're basically an extension of the community. Now we know that it's there. We're gonna spread the word when it gets implemented as well. And the most important thing about having this, again, is knowing that it's there and how to use it. If you don't know that it's there, you can't grab it. If you don't know how to use it, it's ineffective. So they shared their story with me, and it was shared a while back as well. I want to say the mayor brought it up at a meeting a few months back as well.
When he,
He accepted
yes,
the
he accepted
AED
the
donation.
Right. So, this is something that I think is important. I think all of you guys do as well. So it's going to be March 12th. We should be receiving it, and then we'll set another time to do an event at the rec center. So I don't know when our next rec meeting is, Madam Manager.
You have to set that. If you want to set it tonight, we can talk about a tentative date, or we can talk about
We can
a
do
more
it
definitive date.
March 15th.
It's another
if-
commission meeting.
It- We need to wait for a commission meeting because we need marching orders from the commission. And obviously, your leadership on this is greatly appreciated so that we can take it to the next step after that, and that will be the procurement process for what we talked about. And then we can set the meeting surrounding the bid process and the AED.
Okay,
Juan,
so
how long do we need before we gotta put the bids together? And maybe Anna can help us with that.
At least 2 weeks.
At least 2 weeks to put it, prepare it, have Mr. Villalobos look at it, and then upload it to Demand Star.
so we're probably looking at April then, because March 15th is the next commission meeting. It won't be ready by then.
No, the next commission meeting is March
March
1st.
1st.
March 1st and then March 15th.
And then March 15th.
But by March 1st, we won't have any bids by then.
No,
So we'd have a document.
you'll
Right.
have a document.
So by
And we
March
can send it to
15th.
everybody as a courtesy, obviously as a follow-up. And then you have to allow, 30 days for people to bid on it?
At least.
You have a pre-bid conference, so that's the time where you're not bound by the cone of silence to come up and ask questions on the actual equipment and everything that's in that bid document.
Which,
So
by the
what's-
way, he did say it's parts and labor.
It is parts and
Yeah.
labor, the warranty.
Yeah.
So what's the
Great.
earliest commission meeting that we're looking at that the commission will be voting on which, or approving the bid?
I would say the first meeting in April if all goes well,
April 1st,
April 4th.
April Fool's.
And by the way, March 15th is spring
It's not
break.
April 1st.
No, April
It's also the
April.
Ides of March.
April 5th.
Yeah, it's
The
also
day
my
Julius
birthday.
Caesar was stabbed to death.
April
It's also
5th
my birthday.
is Passover.
So let's do this on
April.
April 5th,
That's Passover.
Yeah.
yeah?
No, Marzo 15 is.
You'll say you're a
is-
March baby
Yeah.
like I am.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
it's spring break. So,
That day.
So April 5th to allow us time to work up the bid and go through the process. We gotta give Mr. Villalobos at least a few days, working days, to go through the document to make sure that we've met legal sufficiency. And that we have dotted all of our i's and crossed all of our t's. So, ¿qué tú crees, Juan? April 5th?
That's Passover.
Yeah, it's Passover.
Pero todos los días.
Yeah, it's Sunday
Every day, yeah.
More than likely
The
though, we,
second?
March 29th, my birthday.
Madam Manager, for item D though, if we're receiving the AD on March 12th, we can set something before that April 5th at the rec center to
To do the town hall, you mean?
put the AD at the rec center and have that already in use?
March 12th.
Or is
Oh,
that,
that's,
Sunday.
well, first we gotta train the employees.
Right.
Who's gonna do the training,
I'll speak with the foundation and see.
if they can train?
The American Red Cross does it for free, I think.
The
Okay.
firefighters can't help us?
Yeah. I've been talking to a
Sorry.
couple organizations, so we'll figure that out and then we'll be in touch and then send everybody a notification.
Brianna
I know the right
Foundation.
candidate looks a lot like that guy right there.
Yeah.
He owes me one.
Mr. Villalobos will have to see
Miro-
whether or not the Good Samaritan law provided on 286 Florida statute governs that, because that would be a liability to the city. So I know that between liability and human life, I mean, I would go for human life. Well, my job is to be very practical and tell you about it.
Right. No, and I agree with that as well. I think that was a thought for a bunch of us that were discussing it, but the school board also now is partnering with Children's to provide training to their teachers and AEDs at the schools. So I see them doing that, so it gives me more comfort as well that, you know, they're,
But they do have specifically in the statute, which I checked, that it would be, they would have some sort of soaring immunity to use that. So
the schools specifically have that.
They specifically have in the statute, yes. I already checked that out.
So it's got, the statute names schools have sovereign immunity. And we-
For the use of the defibrillator.
I have a question along those lines. Don't we have these AEDs in police vehicles?
Yeah.
We do.
So do we have that sovereign immunity as well, or, because
I
if there's a
don't know.
liability, it's already been
I don't know if there's an
taken.
exception of the law, I mean, this is all
Yeah.
new. If there's any exception that sort of eliminates first responders and police.
It
I
would
don't
take
think
more
there's a
time, but
way-
maybe putting it inside of the office where it's not accessible with that.
If there's an exception, I would
Shelter.
imagine it's due
Police
to,
and fire.
due to them being trained on it. So then
Yeah.
it's just a matter of training your employees, right?
Well, and again,
To state standards.
that's also something designed to be used by someone that has no idea how to use it either, and
A
I don't
layperson.
think there's a way to do it incorrectly. You push a button,
There
you're gonna
is.
deliver a shock, even when,
Someone that doesn't need it. That would be the way.
No,
to-
it
I
would
don't know
tell
if
you
it, I
No.
don't know
no
if it's
shock
charged.
advice.
Is
Yeah, I
there a
don't think it-
protocol for the use of these AEDs?
When you hit the on button, it says analyzing rhythm, and it says shock advised or no shock
no shock
advised.
advised.
I
But there's
don't
one
think,
pad
ride
that
it.
goes on the top and another one that goes on the
It's-
side, and if
but
it's
it has
not
a-
placed
just-
correctly,
right, it has the
Basic
diagram on
advice.
it where it shows
Yeah.
the top of the chest, the
Oh,
back
so
of
it's
the
just,
chest.
you
Yeah, but
can't
I'm
just zap
asking,
someone.
is
No,
there
it's
Right,
two
it has the
pads.
pads on them.
Okay, there's
let's
two
say
That's what I was worried about.
a
The
person
pack
is
here, the pack
conscious,
you just follow
you
the
know, he's
instructions, that's
having some,
But who decides if
something,
the shock
you know.
happens? You or the
A
machine?
a person is conscious, but you don't know whether it's
It
heart
analyzes
related
it.
or not.
But if-
Can
but
you
if so-
administer the
No.
machine
AED?
malfunctions?
no, it's when they're out.
You could put it on them, but it'll
Shock
say no
somebody.
shock advised. It'll say
Yeah,
analyzing
right, first
rhythm,
of all,
and the
they
person has a
don't
pulse,
know
it'll say no shock advised. If
It's
they
gonna
have a
suck.
shockable rhythm, VFib, pulses VTAC, it's gonna say shock advised.
Yeah.
At that point, they have no pulse. So even if you're not sure you can't feel a pulse or not, if that
The
tells you no
machine tells
shock
you it talks to
advised,
you.
then it means they have a pulse. So there's not really a way to,
Foolproof.
yeah, it's really,
In
it's
any
it's
event,
literally
either it's
designed
system
for
or you're
somebody with
fit.
no knowledge whatsoever to
Any
use.
event, you're gonna get a shock.
So
If it's a normal.
I mean, I do understand his position, you know, that's why we have him here, but
The fact that they're down.
I think that having it is, like he said, you know,
They
it's
battery operated?
They are battery operated, and the time span is it's years.
Like 5 years.
Yeah, it's years.
Does
As long as
have
you
to be
keep it out of the
replaced Out
sun.
of each like use? Like, or
The
checked
pads
out?
have to be replaced after each use. The actual unit does not.
Okay,
And
good.
then if you keep it in the sun, things like that, it's different. Corrosive environments, different. But the manufacturer, as long as you follow the manufacturer's, you know, maintenance schedules and things like that, they'll last as long as they say they're gonna last. I think the unit itself lasts like 10 or 15 years.
Oh, it's
We
great.
had, before we replaced them with the new ones, we had the other ones for like 10 years.
Yeah.
In the police cars?
And the
I guess-
big thing is checking the pads and the battery. It's not
My
gonna work
question
without
would be,
those.
because he brings up a good point, obviously, that if there's a liability, then we just need to find out, maybe the attorney or somebody can find out how everybody else does it, because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I
I've
think
seen other
it's-
parks with them.
I'm not talking just hospitals and
Oh, look,
schools.
you had them in the
They're
gym.
in
Every
cosmetology
Yeah,
salons.
your fit has one out.
But
We have
I
it.
think it's like how the attorney said though, if it's between liability and saving a life, so that's kind of the decision
Life over
we're
limb,
making
always.
too. If one of our kids goes down, screw liability, we want our kids to be safe, right? So,
Plus, if you're gonna have a gym, that could be the
That's
exemption right
Yeah.
there.
Well, you have a senior center here.
Yeah.
Talk about saving a life. Seniors are very vulnerable, and we have a lot of rescue responses next door.
yeah. People have heart attacks everywhere, right? So like, it could be at our rec, it could be wherever, but the fact of the matter is that the fire departments, like, that's what I do for a living, that's what he did. We have to be there in a certain amount of time, but sometimes we're coming from another territory, sometimes there's traffic, the bridge is up,
I
there's
think this
whatever, so,
has got to fall under implied consent, though.
yeah.
You know, in the same way that somebody goes down, you do CPR on them, yeah, there's a liability.
Yeah, but it's
But
it's a
it's
goodwill
implied-
gesture as
It's
a.
implied that that person that went down would want you to do something. You know what I mean?
We'll definitely look into it more, Mr. Attorney.
Isn't there
Um,
liability if we don't do anything? Like if we don't perform
If you're trained and
CPR,
don't
if
do
you're
nothing.
trained, you know, like.
20,000 lawyers in
No,
Miami.
but,
There's always
but
someone who
will
finds
there
something.
be, now that you have a gym and you have classes that people are paying for? I'm paying to take a step class, and I go into cardiac arrest.
I would also check with the insurance company.
That, I just went over the
The
statute.
League of
today.
Cities,
I already I've made a call. They've deferred to our city attorney on that.
Back and forth. That was through,
Back and
that was
forth.
through the league.
Pay
I
attention.
don't think any of that
Pickleball.
involves the individual.
Pickleball.
Your personal choice. If you ain't gone in the gym and worked out, you know what I mean?
They'll sign waivers, right?
Well, we have, that's March 12th, that we're receiving the AED, and then however long afterwards before we even implement it. So we have over a month to kind of dig through the weeds and figure out what's going on. But we all agree that, you know, obviously life safety over liability. But we'll figure that out before the next meeting. And I think
then
that was
April 5th is the next meeting, and on the agenda we will have we
April
will have
5th.
the
April 5th is our rec meeting.
April 5th.
the
day
results
off
of the
yet?
bid.
What day is it?
We'll have the results
What?
of the bid at the next commission meeting.
April 5th is Passover.
And what else?
By the March
And then
15th meeting, right?
the-
Because the March 1st
The
meeting.
follow-up on the AED.
Okay.
And did you have a date that you wanted, the town hall? You're gonna present that to the commission tonight?
I think we're gonna discuss it tonight and go from there, because that 100%, like, there's no liability doing free heart screening for kids, so. But that's it, yeah, if anybody else has anything they wanna add.
Okay, so April 5th at 6 p.m. here, not at the rec.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, next item, Madam
Yes,
Clerk.
Item 7, good of the order.
Anything for good of the order?
and Just
Any
adjourn
motion
the
to
meeting.
adjourn?
Motion.
Meeting adjourned, 7 p.m.
Estamos puntuales.
Very efficient.
Very
Estamos
timely.
puntuales.
Sí, estamos